What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the...
What do I look at?
Oh, we looking at camera 4.
Okay, so I just look straight. Okay, because you didn't give me no directions.
My bad.
Because I don't be looking.
You good?
I gotta make sure I look cute. Can't be having me looking crazy.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the InnerChild Podcast, where we have authentic conversations about childhood, growth, and passions. I'm OD, always kicking it with my boy JB as always. Now, today's guest is one of my favorite people, all right? She's a creative, fashion enthusiast, and stylist. Has worked with some of your favorite brands like Nike, Adidas, Bape, Puma, Milk Makeup, and Reebok, to name a few. She's also worked with artists and athletes like Lil Baby, Tizo Touchdown, Jalen Green, Jalen Williams, Malik Neighbors, and Cade Cunningham, to name a few. She's just a girl. They call her Big Dama, Dommy. She's one half of your favorite duo, Dom and Odom. Let's clap it up and welcome to the show, Dom Alexander.
Thank you for having me. I did not know we were a duo, but happy we're a duo.
We're besties.
Yeah.
You have to let me be the Luke.
I have like a best friend that she might like really get you when she sees this. But
well, shout out bestie. She's my bestie too. We're like
Janita's just my bestie.
Okay.
Thanks.
She's my secondary. Maybe?
No.
All right. Okay. All right, cool.
We're not doing this today.
I got you. But yeah, Dom, welcome to the show. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to come stop by, chop it with me and JB. I always tell you about the podcast, and you always be like, well, okay, I'm waiting for my invite. So
now I'm here.
Yeah, so I really appreciate you for coming on. So the way we start off the show always is like an icebreaker.
Big icebreaker.
Yeah, big icebreaker. We call this icebreaker. It's real simple. We call it drip check, right? Where you tell me about your fit, what you was going for today. As always, you got it on. So, tell us what you got going on today.
Today, I'm chill. I just wear all denim. It's really, really hot in New York. Can't stand it. You would have thought it wasn't as hot because I have long sleeve on. But I just have a wide project denim top on. I have my thrifted Levi shorts on. I'm always heavy on accessories, my earrings. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I was chill today.
New hair. Last week I saw you had braids.
I know. One thing about me, I'm always switch the hair up. But I have to wear a bandana because the heat don't like black girls. So the frizz is crazy.
Yo. Oh, man, that's what's up. 10 out of 10, Dom, like always, all right? But obviously jumping into the show, right? We do want to obviously start off talking about upbringing, right? Like childhood upbringing, the environment you was growing up in, and so on and so forth. And obviously getting a chance to know you from Williamsburg, correct?
Yes.
Right? And you always tell me Williamsburg, the way it is right now, clearly wasn't like that when you were growing up. So tell me a little bit about your experience growing up in Williamsburg, like what you were into, the kind of things that you were doing back then as a child.
So I grew up in Williamsburg. I grew up in Williamsburg Project. So it was like 4 blocks long. I lived on block 1.
Okay.
My childhood was pretty much dysfunctional. Like that's the best way to describe it, to be honest. I grew up with my mom, my brother, and my sister, but we're not as close, me and my siblings. Well, we're not close at all, to be honest. Growing up in Williamsburg, it was cool. It's not what it is now, to be honest. It's gentrified as fuck. Can I say fuck? That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how to.
Yeah.
What are some the biggest differences from when you grew up as far as just culture, environment, people, structures, everything?
So I grew up. So my neighborhood was mostly Black and Spanish people. To be honest, I didn't ever really see any white people. To be honest, when I was in elementary school, middle school, high school, I think up into high school is when we had maybe 2 or 3 white people in our school, but it was just where you come from. To be honest, yeah. It's very, very different. I feel like now, Williamsburg's cute to go to bars and hang out now, but they didn't have any of those things when I was growing up. I feel like it didn't have much, to be honest, and it was considered to be like dangerous, which is crazy because people look at Williamsburg, and when people hear me say I grew up in Williamsburg, like, oh my God, you grew up in Williamsburg? I'm like, yeah, but the projects.
Yeah. I got a little bit of like a similar story growing up too. Like, up until I probably was like 4 or 5, maybe 4, I lived in an area in Miami called Wynwood.
hmm
And if you knew Wynwood back in the days, Wynwood was like not that safe. Like a lot of murder, a lot of crime, a lot of robbing, stealing, shooting, killing. Like it wasn't that great. And then now, like
Art
Isn't it
district.
like art?
Art district.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
like
go to
people
you
go there for
you,
art,
you go
right?
to Wynwood
Yeah.
now, like that's where all the moves at, Art
Basil,
Basel.
yeah.
Literally everybody wants to go to Williamsburg. All the activations be at Williamsburg, the parties, like the food trucks,
Wynwood.
like everything.
And I said it in my head.
Yeah, everything is in Williamsburg. So not Williamsburg, Wynwood. That's what
Yeah.
And I corrected you in my head. We know,
All
we
good.
here
We know,
with
we
you.
know,
We
we
know
good,
what
we
you're
good.
talking about. We
I
here.
told you I'm a little crazy sometimes, man.
Little.
So I do want to just like backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
You did mention like the childhood that you had, and obviously like the relationship between your siblings and things not being that close, right?
Mhm.
You want to like expound on that a little bit as to like what was taking place there between you and like your siblings and your family dynamic that I guess like caused some separation, I guess.
Okay. Well, I'm the youngest. I have a brother. We're considered Irish twins because we're so close in age that we're the same age at the same time. So my birthday's in February, his is in March. And for like 2 weeks and a half, we're the same age.
Okay.
My sister's a little bit older. I believe she's 39 now. Um, Growing up, I mean, like my brother was really quiet. Um, Growing up, I was more of a talker and more outgoing and stuff. And then me and my sister, we just never got along. Like we never got along. Like, I mean, like I can count on my hands how many good days we had together. Um, yeah, but that's pretty much it. Like, I was really close with my mom. I feel like that caused like tension too because I'm the youngest. Always, everyone always thought I was the favorite.
Yeah.
I just saw things differently. Like my sister gave my mom a hard time. And my brother was like kind of like one of those like lazy students. Like he wasn't bad, but he wasn't like, like really on his shit. And I'm just like, okay, like, she's not happy with them. So how can I like, make her happy, make her proud? So I was always an A+ student. I always used to go above and beyond, like
Yeah.
to the point where it's just like I used to write notes in class. If it was like too sloppy, I would go home and like rewrite it over. Like I was
Oh,
that
wow.
kind of student.
That's different.
Yeah.
Nah, that's
But
different.
I've always been like that. Like,
Yeah.
I was the leader of my group projects. Like, I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna do this, you do that. We're gonna get this A. And like that's how I was all
Yeah.
throughout my like school career and stuff.
So that like mentality of, wanting to excel and be better, like how did that translate into certain passions that you had like when you were younger as a child?
I mean, for me, my only passion was to get out of the projects. For me, I felt like
Okay.
it was like
That's valid.
kind of like a cage because I feel like, like it was like a lot of people I grew up with, they're like either pregnant or like still on the block selling drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just felt like that just wasn't for me.
Mhm.
I didn't want to do that or be a part of that. So I know like I remember I think high school I started to get introduced into like Tumblr and I used to like leave the block to go to like Soho, and 14th Street and people were just like, she's Hollywood. She thinks she's better.
Mhm.
It's just like I just always seen more and I always wanted to be more and do more.
So I mean, staying on that point, right? When people said those things, like how is it now, like in hindsight, like looking back, as like I made the right decisions, like I made the right choices, like at a young age that propelled me to where I'm at now. Like how does it feel now, looking back on like those moments and those scenarios for you?
I mean, it feels great because I know I got teased a lot for being different.
Mm.
But that never bothered me. Like you see me with one hairstyle, one hair color. I had a whole Avril Lavigne punk rock phase,
Mhm.
and people are just like, "What the fuck?" Because like on the block, we're not introduced to that.
Yeah.
Like it was all about Jordans and like the freshest outfits, and for me, I'm just like I just want to express myself.
That's real. That's real.
Yeah. So in terms of like obviously, your passions, right? You talked about your whole style and the phase and how that evolved, right? What were like some of the things that you were doing back then that you felt like super passionate about?
Um, I've always felt passionate about like expressing myself.
Okay.
So I used to just always try different things from my hair to my clothing. I feel like I've been through like every single phase you can think of, and like I think right now that's why I'm so plain now. Well, plain in my eyes, because I've just been through every aspect of dressing. I feel like
Yeah. What was your favorite era, you think?
my favorite era was when I wore all orange for a year and a half. So my hair was orange, my nails was
You
orange,
sure?
everything about me was orange. You cannot pay me to wear another color.
Word?
Yes. Like that was people really thought I was a rapper, but I'm just like, nah. But that was my favorite era. It's just like straight orange, couldn't pay me to do another color.
Were there any like styles or trends that you like, had going on when you were younger? Um and then like people would ask like what is it? Like you're different, like your style, your fashion, whatever. But then like present day or like as over time, like you see that same thing like repeat itself. Like were there any instances of that of like stuff you used to wear?
I feel like growing up, because I wasn't really looking at like the celebrities and all of
Yeah.
those things. I feel like I was just more influenced about like what I saw around me.
Okay.
Like one of my hugest influences, like my Aunt Lorraine. And I remember like she used to have like all these earrings and all this jewelry and like nails that like curl under. And then I remember she used to wear her hair in like a fan. And I used to wear my hair like that. So I feel like I was just influenced by like what I saw.
Okay. Shout out
Would you
Art Lorraine.
Yeah, would you say like she was like your biggest influence in terms of like your style, or
She was one of the influences, yeah. I feel like I just like I don't know, like I would just like see things, especially like when I started to get on like MySpace and Tumblr and things like that. Then I would like see more eclectic things. And I've always just I was always more like I don't know, like I was always drawn to that and like something different because I just hated like being the same.
right, right? So I guess let's talk about your friend groups,
Mhm.
right? Like how have you seen your community evolve from when you were younger to like now?
I feel like I've just always been the type that can like fit in with anybody. Like I remember there was this boy named Daniel. He was like weird and super smart. But I like we used to sit there and we used to talk all the time. And then I used to go and like, hang out with like my ratchet friends and do ratchet things. And like I used to just exist anywhere. And I just feel like that too right now. Like, in my in my adulthood, I feel like I have different types of friends, especially like working in fashion. Like, I have a really close friend, and she's like from Poland. And then we went to the Veronica's concert. I'm over here fist pumping with her. And then,
Yeah.
like, I just do random things. And I feel like I can really exist in any space with anybody, to be honest.
I think that's a good like attribute to have. We had another guest on, one of our friends, in fraternity brothers in Blake, and we kind of complimented him on how he's able to, no matter like what setting he's in, or the friend group, the dynamic, right? Like he's always able to kind of simulate. Not to say that he's, just like changing up or anything, but that's just naturally his personality. So I think that's a really good like skill and trait to have because it can allow you to be in various spaces no matter what. And you seem like a very comfortable person, right? Like you walked in a room, you had a good energy, good aura. And I'm assuming that's the case with like anywhere you go. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I could definitely say that about Dom. Dom makes she makes a setting very comfortable for you, and like you just can be yourself. Like the way I act with Dom, honestly, I don't even really act like that with a lot of the homies. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
got footage.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, she gets me out of my comfort zone. Like, I don't know how you do it, but I definitely want to be like, I definitely want to say thank you for that. Cause on top of working with you, like, it is very refreshing where you could just let loose, be chill. But then me and you can actually talk about like honest things. Like, I be telling you about my love life and, you know, so like we're good. Like, I love the relationship. That's why I call you bestie, but I don't want to get Tanita mad, but that's fine. All right. But help me fill in the gap a little bit, right? I know you went to LIM college, right?
Yes.
Studied something fashion based. Am I correct?
It was a fashion business school, so I studied fashion media with a concentration of styling and visual
Okay.
merchandising. Yeah.
Okay. But also like with you getting your education at LIM, when you first left school, that wasn't something that you were necessarily doing full time. Am I correct? Or
Before I got into fashion, I had many other lives.
Right.
So I first started my career in college. I wanted to be a psychiatrist
Okay.
because I just wanted to help people. And I just thought, honestly, I wanted to work with like serial killers because I wanted to know like what makes their mind different from like our mind. But I'm glad I didn't go that route because I'm like actually really scared. And to be like locked away in a prison with them, like just picking their brain.
Yeah.
And I think I saw Silence of the Lambs and I was like, fuck out of here. I'm not doing that.
That's not like a joke. That's so specific. Like I gotta know like what specifically them, because you could like work on it in many people's minds. Like what?
I just wanted to know like what makes you a killer? Like is it nature versus nurture? Like I just was so
Okay,
intrigued
okay.
by I'm still intrigued by the mind. And like
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
I feel like I'm not much of a talker, more of a listener. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm so intrigued by like people's thought process and like what made you do that.
Yeah, I got
And
you.
just like, what made you how you are.
I feel like I remember you told me that were you a preschool teacher
Yeah.
or something? Yeah.
Then I actually graduated with my associates from LaGuardia to do journalism.
Mm.
Yeah. But then I don't know, like my life switched up and I became a preschool teacher. And I was a preschool teacher for 2 years. It was amazing. I worked in like a private school in the Lower East Side. I had the kiddos from 4 to 5. Yeah, it was really cute. But then I ended up resigning and that's when I started my fashion career.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where I wanted to get to. So what happened exactly that made you flip the switch and say, you know what? I need to start putting myself in this space and actually taking this serious and then, branding myself in this light. What was that transition like from being like, you know what? I'm working as a preschool teacher, but this is not what I love. This is not what I want to do. Like I need to
Well,
be
I did love being a preschool teacher.
okay.
I did
Okay.
love it. It's just not what that's not what I'm destined to be and
Right.
do. To be honest, Danita always knew that she wanted to do photography. Like from high school, she had her camera.
Okay.
I always just like I never knew exactly what I wanted to do. That's why I kept hopping around and just like I was just like I don't know. Um, and then she used to have like these projects at school that she had to like do. Like shoot project and some she'd be like, "Can you style it?" And I'm just like, "What do you mean you want me to style it?" Like, I've always just like been dressing myself and I like to experiment on myself, but I never knew I could actually like do it on another person. But like it's my best friend, so I'm just like, "You think I can do it? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna help you." So I helped her like style some things on set, and then that's when I got really intrigued because that's the first time I actually felt like, like a spark go off in me, like this is what I want to do. Like, how do I like do this for a living? Like people actually are stylists for a living, like because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I had like no idea because like I feel like I come from a generation of school like where they're like, okay, you need to go get a good job. So that's why I thought, okay, let me be a psychiatrist, let me be a teacher, let me do this, let me do that. Um, and they didn't really push creativity like it's being pushed now. So I had no idea, to be honest. But like living in that space with Danita and just like creating with her, I was just like really intrigued and I'm very impulsive. So as soon as like in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna do that, I'm doing it by any means necessary. So I ended up, so I like waited till my kids were like going to kindergarten. So it's kind of like we were both transitioning into something new. So they were going to kindergarten and then I was leaving being a teacher. So then I went to LIM, which like for me, LIM, I mean, I'm happy because it introduced me into like interning and like understanding like parts of the business and stuff. But I feel like I didn't like going there at all because it was like a private school, so it's predominantly white people, different backgrounds. I just feel like I didn't like belong in a way because like people would come to school with like the most designer this, designer that. I didn't have access to any of that, and I didn't even think I would be owning it right now.
Yeah.
So it was just very like I remember like a core memory is like I remember I was sitting in the library. I used to be in the library from like as soon as the library opened till it closed at night. I remember this girl comes in and she was just like talking and whatever, and she was like excited that I lived in Williamsburg, and I'm just like in my head I'm like I live in the projects, but okay. But I didn't tell her that, of course, because also at the time I was a little embarrassed by like where I came from because I was just like you guys have so much more than me. I don't have. Um, so I remember she was telling me, she was like, "Yeah, I'm supposed to stay at the dorms, but my parents, she said that she didn't like the dorms because it was too small. So my parents are renting out a hotel for me for the semester." And I was like a semester. And then after that, I was like, I took my ears off because I'm just like, girl, we got nothing.
Yeah.
Took your ears off.
We got nothing to talk about. Because I'm just like, I'm over here. Like, I didn't eat today because I'm like struggling with like trying to pay for myself to go to this school.
Yeah.
You know, and I've sat here in this library from it open till it's closing, you know, trying to get my work done and trying to like, you know, I always felt like I was like behind the starting line. So I was just like trying to push myself forward.
Right.
And I'm just like, you over here living your life in a hotel because you don't like the dorms. But I'm over here, I didn't eat today because I couldn't afford it. So it's just like, I don't know, just that difference. I'm just like, I don't really feel like I fit here. And then I was always like different too. Like the way I dressed, I just didn't feel like it was a fit for me. But I am happy that like it introduced me to like interning, and I got good things out of it because obviously I didn't know like where to start. So that was my starting point.
Could you say that, I guess personally, you felt like the most confident person going into styling, or is that something that you feel like you evolved over time?
Over time, and I feel like I'm still like, you know, finding my way, even though people are just like, no, you're like the best. I'm just like, no, like I can't be the best yet. You know what I mean? Like it's still work and learning to do. I feel like I don't know. I wasn't confident at all because I felt like I didn't exist in those spaces, you know, because I'm just like, you don't really see people like me. And I'm just like, and if you listen to like my upbringing, it's just like you said, like, you know, you go into places like people have a mom and a dad. I was like, my father was like killed when I was a baby. He was a drug addict, you know, and I have single mom, you know, like I barely have furniture in my house. Like, I don't have the things that you have, and I don't have, you know, the things that you guys were introduced to. So I always felt like, you know, I wasn't really supposed to be there in those
Mhm.
settings. But now I understand, you know, like if I wasn't supposed to be there, I wouldn't have the opportunity to be in those rooms.
Right.
And like my story matters, you know, and that's why like, you know, like hire my friends. Like that's why I hire you and I hire Michio and like any of my friends that want to be in these positions, I try to hire them because I want more people that look like us
Right.
and that have stories like us. Because like I'm just like not everyone has a perfect life, and it's like, you know, it's what you make of it.
I think such an interesting component to a couple things you said there is that you said that you have a different style of dressing and what have you, right? But and sometimes you may not self feel like, oh, I got it on or I don't, but it's what other people view and say, oh well, like you've consistently have a nice outfit, like I like what you put together, so much so to the point where somebody asks you like, can you help them style, right? And
Mm-hmm.
ultimately that's kind of like what propelled you, introduced you into the industry. So once you like, make that connection and you make that transition, what is it like when, okay, you're not just trying to figure out your own personal style now, you're trying to help others kind of piece their, like, what was that like pivot like in a sense of you're helping other people, you're trying to help them find like what they don't like. How was that for you?
I feel like that comes easier to me, to be honest. Like,
Really?
you should see my room right now because
Uh,
I tore it apart because I didn't know what I was gonna wear today. But for me, I can see someone like even like when I'm just like walking down the street, I'm just like, oh, she should have put that with that. You know, I see that more of
mm,
her. Or I can easily like sense like, okay, like this is not really you. Like you just saw what you saw on like Instagram and Pinterest.
mm.
And you put it on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like it just comes more easy and natural to me. Like OD has seen me in my element, like how I just piece things together. So like I feel like so like effortlessly,
Mhm.
like I don't know, just like it's just like I don't know. It's like how I guess smart people feel with math. It's just like a light bulb goes off and you just get it.
Did you have any growing pains at first, or like was it just all natural?
No, yeah, absolutely. I feel like I still go through growing pains because
Mhm.
like, um, you know, because like essentially, because like now I style on like a higher level where you just like, you know, you're not just only styling for like your vision, you're styling for a client's vision.
Mhm.
So I feel like that too, like you have to find a medium ground of what you like, what the client likes.
What is it about obviously being a stylist that I guess sparks your interest so much?
With clothes, I just feel like that was always how I expressed myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I dress based on mood. Um, you know, like if I'm feeling happy, you might see me with a dress. That's very rare. Not that I'm rarely happy, but you know, a dress is rare. Um, yeah, I say I dress more based on like mood.
With all like the campaigns, the shows, the shoots that you've done,
Uh-huh.
what's a piece of your work that you've done that's been so validating to you that say, okay, all this work, time, effort I put in, like this makes me happy. Like I feel accomplished based off of this project. Like has there been a time where you just felt that off one project alone or a show or a shoot?
Not until now, because I feel
Okay.
like when I first started, I was like more wrapped up in like, I need to progress, I need to be like better. And that's
Mhm.
just always been my life. Like I always feel like I need to be better. So I never fully got a chance to like grasp like what I actually have been doing in the last couple years.
So do you feel like it's hard for you to be like content with things? Like you're always trying to like have consistent improvement. Like are you like a hard critic of yourself, I guess?
I am my worst critic.
Okay.
Like I talk about this in therapy all the time. Like, I'm always like I feel like I could be my worst critic. Like everyone around me, I have a really great support system where people always tell me they're like, they can't believe that I'm doing all these things and like, how much I inspire them. And I'm just like, how do I like inspire you? Like, like I'm just like learning and just trying to grow and
Mhm.
like, get the things that I want to get. So I feel like now I'm in a space where, okay, let me enjoy. Cause like, well, you don't know. Well, like 2020, I lost my mom.
Okay. Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. So like I feel like I lost all sense of self.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like when I first became like in the fashion space. And then, then the world shut down and COVID happened. And then like I think the next 2 years after that, I was just like depressed. Like cause I kind of like I was grieving my mom. I was also ended a 4-year relationship. Um, I moved out of my childhood home I was living with my best friend Danita. So it was just like so many things happening. And then I was just like depressed. So it was just like I really my career really, really started for me. I would say maybe like 2022, 2023. So like
Got you.
to know like, we're only 2025 and like
Yeah.
I have things that I never even imagined that I was gonna have. Like I'm super blessed and humble and I'm grateful. To be honest. Yeah. Cause I remember moving into Dina's house, like my stuff fit in a single Uber. Like a single Uber. And we slept in the same bed. She let me sleep in her bed with her for like 2 years while I was just like, trying to get my life together and like figure things out for myself. Um, so like now I'm in a space where I feel like I can fully enjoy where I'm at. Cause I'm just like, just a couple years ago I didn't have anything. So I'm just like, that should be, an accomplishment. I should be proud of that alone.
That's right. I feel like sometimes in life, like things just take time. I know that's like such a cliche thing to say. Excuse me. But you know, I feel like where there's a will, there's a way, and I just respect how you being vulnerable and like opening up in this moment. Appreciate you for that, but also it's like a testament of like you're like how you said you're a tough critic on yourself. Like I feel like with all these different challenges, or obstacles that may have it could have easily stopped you from like continue to accomplish like your goals, like your desires, your passions, but you didn't do that, and so props and kudos to you for that for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So Dom,
Yes.
I mean, obviously, we've been working for a short amount of time when it comes
Mhm.
to how when it encompasses your career so far as a stylist. What would you say was your, I guess, favorite project that you worked on, or like favorite celebrity slash artist, or just talent that you've worked with?
Well, my new favorite thing that I've done was the Puma fashion show that we worked on together with Coach
yeah.
Super.
Right. Sorry. Yeah.
Because it was just like my first, like I've worked on fashion shows before, but I've never been like the lead stylist
Mhm.
on the fashion show. Um, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just a testimony to like my growth. Like I was able we styled 56 looks in a day. That was insane.
Yeah.
And it just kind of pushed me to um, I feel like another height in my career, I feel like, because I'm just like, I learned so much from like, I mean, we got the show together in like 3 days, realistically.
Yeah.
2.5 days, really. So I feel like that, because I really grew from that, I feel like. I learned a lot. And I was also very proud of it. I felt like I was able to like really enjoy it. And then what made it better for me is that my friends were included. Like you were included, Danita was included, Yoli was included. I had Michio there, and I just love like just having my friends just like there with me. So I feel
Yeah.
like that makes it even more special for me.
Yeah, no, and definitely shout out to them because they came through and flicked us up, caught the
No,
BTS.
yeah, absolutely.
Nah, they did a big one. They did their big one on that one. So
Yeah, and just like like obviously like they like pull me to the side and like tell me things about me and just like because I live in my head. I'm an overthinker.
yeah,
I never think that what I'm doing is good enough or that great. So like people around you who like constantly remind you like no, like you're on the right path. You're doing great things.
yeah,
That always like helps.
yeah. That is something I could say is really true because obviously, while I've been doing this thing with you, going through my career transition and figuring out like what's the exact space I belong in, like it hasn't always been like a fun thing to figure out. Like some days you're flustered, like you be saying overstimulated,
I'm
like
always
and
overstimulated.
yeah, and it's just like having people come around and tell you like, yo, like this is fire, like I see you happy doing this, like you're having a great time, like you're killing it, like I'm proud of you, I never thought you would actually do this for real, like, and it's just like damn, but at the same time you're like so in the moment, right? You don't always soak it all in.
No, yeah,
You don't always
absolutely.
soak it all in because, being your toughest critic and just wanting so much more for yourself, you never realize like how big it is that you've actually gotten a chance to work with this talent or this brand or you've done this show or have been a part of this campaign. Like, you know, I think for me the only times I really get to just be like, damn, I actually did this is when like it goes live and I'm looking at it
I know.
and it's like on the websites and it's like literally everywhere
Yeah.
and you go to the subway, you see the picture of the model that is wearing the clothes that you help style, like what I'm saying. So it's just stuff like that definitely is super dope to have. But
Yeah, it's very
yeah, when you're in the
surreal.
moment, you never really like actually.
No, because I feel like also with styling, it's so chaotic. Sometimes you barely have a moment to like breathe.
Yeah,
Um, because I feel like people, like obviously they don't see what goes on behind the scenes with us. And I feel like, just like having needed to capture the like they changed in like 40 seconds and it was like 8 looks each. Like
yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah. It's crazy. It's like going to like you helping them change, then you come out to make sure everybody else is good. Then you got to go back to reorganize the clothes that they just threw on the floor. Come back around to help everybody else out
Yeah.
again. By the time you're done with that, they race back into the room, and now you got to help them change again. Like it's
Shoot.
quick.
Question for both of y'all in this case then. Has there been a time where y'all both like, nah, I'm not having that. Like this is ridiculous. Like I don't like the situation, like in a show, shoot, anything like that.
No, I just feel like you just have to be adaptable and roll with the
Okay.
punches kind of thing. It's just like, like, because your ego can't be bigger because it's like a team effort at the end of the day.
Okay.
So I just pivot. Like, that's what I've learned in my life is just to be easy to pivot.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all you can do because styling is just like, you don't have control of anything. Like, sometimes I'm chasing down the UPS worker, like yelling to the top of my lungs, like, where are you? I'll come to Queens for the package. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah, and also too, especially like I guess from my point of view as well is you know a lot of situations can get really tense, like really fast,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't always control people's reactions.
No,
And
absolutely.
being that, like you know, you're still you're still applying a service for a client. You're still working for a client. You're still representing a company to some capacity. Like, doesn't matter what the issue is. Like, you got to keep your decorum. Like, you got to keep yourself together. Not only that, we're black. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That too, it's
We can't just tighten up with how you talk. Like, you can't do that. So it's just you just got to find a way to diffuse the situation. If you just need to be quiet for a second, just be quiet, and then just find ways to still be productive throughout it all.
yeah,
So.
absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, so I do want to backtrack a little bit. You mentioned
Mhm.
your mother's passing,
Yes.
right? You said that obviously she transitioned in 2020.
20.
You talked a little bit about that journey and what you've been through in the last 5 years. One thing I did want to ask you is like how have you been able to handle your grieving through obviously your mother's passing?
Um, it's been really hard. Um, that like I feel like, people say like, with time things get better. I feel like no, it doesn't. Like stop lying. Like obviously like I'm able to like, talk about her without like crying now and I think about like all the positive things, the things that she instilled in me. That's how
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to like exist and like do the things that I do now. But it was very tough, especially like she passed in April of 2020, and shortly after the world like shut down. So it was very lonely since it was just like essentially it was just like me, um, and my two siblings, and I also I forgot to mention my niece. My niece lived with us as well. But our family dynamic was very dysfunctional. Like we didn't speak. Me and my sister, I think the last time we actually spoke was like 12th grade. We had like the worst fight ever where we both like went to bookings overnight. Like it was that bad.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so we just never spoke after that. But we all lived in the same house. So that was like people are just like, "What?"
Yeah.
Um, we just never spoke. So it was very hard to just like not have my mom there because that's the only person like I was close to, and she understood she understood me. She used to let me experiment. Like people were just like, "Your mom lets you get all those tattoos and piercings," but like she wants me to like express myself. Even though like she was very different. She had no piercings, no tattoos. She's from Alabama, you know. Um, yeah, but she always just saw me for who I was and just loved me no matter what. So I felt like I took a huge loss when I lost her. Well, I didn't
Yeah.
really lose her, but in physical form.
Yeah, and obviously, I lost my dad in 2019,
Mhm.
and it definitely was a tough situation to deal with, especially because it was like so sudden, right? And I don't know if your mom's passing was sudden or
Yeah, it
not.
was.
It
It was
was.
she passed from heart failure.
Oh
So
wow.
it was just like she was literally here one day and then gone the next, and it was just
Yeah.
very hard.
Yeah. No, definitely. For one, sorry about that. I know JB said sorry, but I definitely wanted to give you my condolences as well. But yeah, it honestly never gets easier. Um, Not because like the feeling stays the same, but it never gets easier because as you continue to adult and you're maturing and more responsibilities come about, it's just always something that's gonna be back in like in the back of your head that's asking you like, damn, like will my life be different if he was around, or will my life be different if she was around, or would I be able to seek this person for guidance, or for me, I got a lot of issues going on with my mom and stuff. It's just like, damn, would the relationship with my mother be different, or would my mom's relationship with herself be different?
Mhm.
And I just always think about these things, and it never and sometimes like you never get to a place where you can actually answer the question, but you still have to like figure out a way to like work on you, do the things that you want to do, honor your parents, like just find the best way to be like the best version of yourself. But it's not a battle that like ever like gets easier. You just probably shed less tears, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You don't it doesn't get any like easier, you know what I'm
No, it
saying?
doesn't. And especially like, in moments, because I feel like when we're younger, we're just like, or especially like middle school, teenage years, we're just like, I don't need my parents. I'm grown. I could do whatever I want. But I feel like as you get older, you realize that you actually really do need your parents. And
Yeah.
just like a simple, like, just like when my friends be like, yeah, I haven't talked to my mom in a week. I'm just like, what? Like, go pick up the phone and call her. Please go call her. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was like, I wish I could do that. Like simple things, just like, how you doing? Like the little, very little things. And then also like, when big moments happen for me, obviously I want to like, I wish I could tell her about it because we
Yeah.
did speak about it briefly because she knew I wanted to go into styling, but but obviously like she was from Alabama, like she worked hard her entire life. Like she was just a little skeptical. She was just like, you know, am I gonna really make money and
Yeah.
like be able to succeed? So it's just like, you know, like I exist in a space where like, I don't like I'm fortunate, where I have like I can exist in this world,
Yeah.
and get paid to do what I love to do.
When
Mhm.
I lost my dad, it really like humbled me,
Mhm.
right? Not in the space where I was like on this high horse, or like I thought that, you know, I was on top of my game, or I thought that I was the shit. It just humbled me from a perspective that like you can still be working hard. You can do everything right. Doesn't matter if you're on rock bottom. Like, you know, there's gonna come a time where somebody's life is just not gonna be around you anymore. And you're just gonna have to find a way to deal with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it humbled me in such a sense because I realized like life is precious, right? And there's nothing that's
Very.
like too serious. There's nothing that's like, too not serious, right? For you to just not be able to kind of like navigate the situation. It just taught me to treat everything with like, a level of compassion, but also be level headed, right? And not to like get too high, too low, just always just try to stay in the moment and work through things. So only reason why I brought that up, because I wanted to ask you, like, what did your mother's passing teach you exactly?
It taught me that life is short, and to enjoy it
Yeah.
while I can and to enjoy others. Because I come from a household where like, we didn't say I love you. We barely hugged each other or things. So like that's why I'm very big on like, making people feel comfortable. Um, talking to my friends, telling them I love them and spending time with them, even though I have like a really busy schedule.
Hmm.
But I'm just like, if you want to call me, I'll step away from set for 5 minutes because I don't care. Because like I wanna make sure that you're good and, we spoke. So I don't take that for granted, the people I have in my life, because I understand, like, they could be here today and literally gone tomorrow. Um, so I feel like that stuck with me. It's just like, be more present with people. Tell them how you feel about them so they don't never have to wonder.
Yeah.
So, like, my friends are just like, "You always say you love me." I'm just like, "'Cause I literally do."
Yeah.
Um Yeah. So little things like that I feel are very important to me. Just spending time and just like making sure people know how I feel.
It seems like you really like value like the relationships and friendships that you build, right? Um, and it seems like you're a very like outgoing person, right? But does it take a little minute before like you give like a friend, a colleague like your complete trust and your complete like kinship, if you will, before like you get to know them, or like how is that dynamic for you? Like, or are you always just like cool with people?
I feel like I don't know. I'm an energy person.
Okay.
So as long as like I walk in a room and I feel like there's good energy, like you'll get this side of me where I'm talkative, I'm laughing at, and then if the energy feels off, I'm a little bit more reserved and
Yeah.
pulled back until I observe and see like, okay, let me see what this person is about. And then that's when I'll like, feel like I can open up a little bit more.
Gotcha.
It just depends. I guess it's situational. But I try to just like, just go into a room and just like be open.
Hmm.
Because some people are in their heads and you probably think they might be standoffish, but they're not. Because people used to think sometimes that they think that I'm unapproachable.
Hmm.
And then when they talk to me, just like, oh, I can talk to you forever.
Yeah,
Um, yes, I just feel like everyone's just in their heads kind of thing.
that's valid.
Yeah. People think you're unapproachable.
I've gotten that before. Um, you know me differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten that. Like people are scared to like talk to me because I guess they perceive me. Um, like I don't know. I don't feel like I look intimidating. I feel like all I do is laugh. Like I don't have a serious bone in my body really. So just like
Yeah.
maybe they caught me in the moment where I had my like resting bitch face on. But I don't know.
Nah, like you always cool and chill. Like I said, probably because like obviously I gotten a chance to know you now, so I see you in a different lens because from not knowing you to knowing you is two different things,
Yeah.
right? But I don't know, like you've always been inviting, like you've always been really cool to me. I think about like how we became friends. You were just like, hey, you look cool, let's be friends, and I just like, all right, cool, like let's be friends, like you know what I'm saying. And then to actually getting the chance to meet each other, I'm just like, all right, she's dope, and yeah, we've been rocking ever
I try
since.
to always lead with kindness. Like
Yeah.
that's something I take away from my mom too. Like she was always very kind. So I just feel like that's how I show up in the world. Like, even if like a person is like a little mean to me, like I don't meet them back with that energy. I don't know. I just feel like everyone needs to be more kind.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Is there anything that your friendships have taught you over the years?
um, friendship takes work and time. Just like you put time and work into like your romantic relationships, friendships need the same thing.
Hmm.
Um, because like right now, like friendship to me is very precious because I look at my friends as like my family because
Mm.
they are my chosen family. Um, so I understand like, we might have differences, we might have disagreements, and it just taught me to like have tough conversations because I wasn't comfortable with having tough conversations. But now I'm able to like, tell my friend like, hey, like I didn't like this, or accept if they don't like something that I did. Um, Yeah, instead of just like, just cutting you off and just like, just like, oh, whatever. Because these people actually bring value to me,
Right.
like I love these people. So you need to make it work.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what I learned.
That's dope. Oh.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were about to say something. Nah.
We always give each other a look, and when we give each
Sorry.
So it's just like if I speak and he gives me
Yeah.
a look,
Yeah.
I
Nah,
think
I'm
it's,
good.
it's a turn. So that's what
So I was gonna ask you, like, with all that you have going on, right, Dom?
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be moments when you just need to decompress and just chill out. Like, what do you do when you need to like decompress? You might be a little overstimulated. Like, what is your go-to methods for that?
Riding my bike. I love
Okay,
riding my bike.
dope.
That's like my favorite thing to do in the world. Also, I would put my phone on D&D.
Okay, for sure.
My phone
You're a
stays
D&D
on.
warrior. You must
Yeah,
be a D&D
it
warrior.
stays on D&D. I try to call you. I'm just like, okay.
so what? Right.
I was overstimulated. I needed a moment to myself. I just always love, like, as much as I love being around people and I like to give myself to people, I always like to retreat to myself. So I like to journal. I like to read my book. I like to ride my bike.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go on a long bike ride. Like, I live close to Prospect Park.
Okay.
So I'm there riding my bike. Yeah. My bike is my baby, to be honest. Like, I love my bike.
Yeah. I mean, I remember like me and Dom, we worked on a recent set, right? And then there was just a lot going on. There was a lot going on.
Mhm.
And Dom just was like, listen, can y'all like change the vibe in here? Or can we like pause to slow down for a second? I'm a little bit overstimulated.
No, I was a lot
Yeah,
a lot.
a lot overstimulated. But for me, it was just when you said that, I never really like told you, but like, and I probably did, but I found that to be like such a healing thing that you would be feeling a certain type of way, and instead of like having an attitude or shutting down or getting pissed off and exploding, you just was like, hey guys. And also too, like in a professional setting, you're just like where a lot is happening, you're just like, hey guys, like it's a lot going on. I need us to all bring this energy down just a little bit, or a lot of bit, because like it's just a lot for my brain. Like, where did you start learning to like, I guess, communicate your emotions like that?
Therapy, because growing up we did not communicate emotions. Like, the only emotion that existed in that household was anger. And when things bothered me, I used to like punch a hole in the wall, or like me and my sister, me and my siblings used to fight.
Right.
So I don't know. Therapy really taught me, like, the importance of like expressing your emotions and like telling people how you feel, because people literally don't know how you feel. Like, that's something that you solely feel. So just like, making it known in that moment, like we're in a tight space. So like having 5, 6 of us in a space and the music is just like the loudest possible, and like talking about some gang violence. And just like, I don't know, it's just like very chaotic to me. So I'm just like, everything's unorganized. So just like for me, like I could just be like easily like, I'm overstimulated. Can we change the playlist to Brent Fayez? I need to calm down. Yeah, and everyone just be quiet for a second. I don't know, I can easily communicate those things now. I don't know, it just feels like second nature to me. Not even second, like it's just easy for me to do now.
Yeah. Can I ask you, when did you start feeling, I guess, the need to sit down with a therapist and, I guess, dissect your emotions?
Well, after my mom, I think 2021, I spent like majority of the year in Danita's bed. Just like kind of just like wasting away.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't working. I didn't feel motivated. Um, yeah. And she was just like, she was helping me actively find a therapist. And like, I went through 2 other ones until I got the one that I have now.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but I was just like, at a point, it's just like, yes, you're sad and you're depressed, but it's like, are you going to fight to be here? Or are you just going to like, let your life go? So I just got to a point where it's just like, I needed to like fight for it, and it's hard, like to wake up and choose yourself every day. It's hard.
That's real. That's real. Waking up and choosing yourself, man.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, sometimes I have bad days and like, I'm just like, I don't want to do anything, but I'll get on my bike and I'll ride because that makes me feel better, makes me feel a peace of mind.
Right. So I guess besides like, being able to communicate your like emotions and stuff, like what's one practice you feel like therapy has really like taught you?
Um,
Or sorry to interrupt, but a practice that you felt like it has allowed you to like flourish still.
I think just communication, to be honest.
Okay.
I feel like because I was not a communicator at all. Like I used to think like, walk around like people should know how I feel. Like, you did what you did, so you know what you did, and that's why I'm mad. That's why I'm reacting that way. So I feel like I don't know, therapy just I feel like it opened up the doors to so many things and just like also like I struggle with depression. So she really helped me navigate that and like how to be functional. And still have that I deal with daily, but how I can actually like manage it and be
Right.
better.
Right. Do you as far as like the depression goes, right?
hmm
Do you and you just mentioned that, she helped you develop some tools for you to like still be functional while you're going through it, right? Do you feel better equipped now because of that, or is there something that you still feel like, that still needs work, or
I mean, I feel like to be honest, depression is just something that's just like you would never fully be able to like control it
mhm,
because it just comes in waves. Like I could be fine right now, the next moment I'm just like sad. Um, but it's just like I guess how I go about it. It's important for me to feel those emotions and I can talk through those emotions with people, or write it down, however I choose. But it's also important to come back from that. And it shouldn't be something where it's just like I spend days, a year, basically, just like down and out. So I just learned how to manage it because I was on Lexapro, but I didn't like it because it just kind of like numbs you. It doesn't make you happy, sad. You just kind of like numb
mhm,
and you don't feel anything. And I was like, that's not a way to live either because I just feel like, I'm not even like my happy, jokey self. So that's why I just like learn different things. I know like through routine, it really helps me. And just communicating too. Like people don't know. And like not everything is a battle that you need to face. Like, you have a therapist, I have friends. I always ask, like, do you have capacity if I tell you this? I just don't like to dump on people,
Mm.
but
Through everything that you currently have going on, Dom, um, what do you have next coming up, right? So from, personal life, work, like what are some things that you just have coming up in the next few months?
well, right now I'm taking a little break.
Okay.
Because we've been working every single day, even weekends. So I feel like right now I'm just chilling. I do want to do like a couple more like test shoots and like build my portfolio in that way. My friend just opened up a store in Florida, Tampa.
Okay.
So I'll
Shout out
probably go
Tampa.
visit her store. She wants me to do a shoot there with her store and like style a fashion show.
Mhm.
So I'm excited about that. And then we'll probably just like go to Miami and celebrate after. I just want to like
Okay.
chill and enjoy my life because I
Yeah.
feel like I've just been working so, so, so hard. And I just need a moment to just like take those things in and just like, hang out with friends and just do the things that I actually like doing.
That's what's up.
yeah. In terms of like your personal brand vision,
hmm
right? And obviously, you're still growing, right?
hmm
Just like all of us, we always grow. You never stop growing. But in terms of like your personal brand vision, what do you feel like is the next step for you to not only grow as a stylist but also grow as a person?
I think I'm gonna try harder at putting myself out there. I feel like I just started to post more of my work and more of like what I look like to Instagram.
Hmm.
So I feel like with doing those things, it'll help me grow because people are interested in like what I'm wearing. Since I work in a space where it's just like I'm literally dressing others, they want to see like what I'm doing. So I just feel like putting myself out there more, to be honest.
If you were sitting across from little Dom right now, what would you tell little Dom in present day in this very moment?
Um, I would tell her. I mean, it gets better. You'll have all the things that you thought you wouldn't have,
Mhm.
you know? Yeah.
Got it. For sure.
Very simple,
Very
yeah.
simple answer.
Yeah.
No, so for sure, like as we wrap it up, we always ask our guests for like advice that they would go ahead and give to other viewers and people who watch this show or will watch this show, right? So we want to pose the question to you. Uh what's some advice that you would give to someone who is still taking time to tap into their inner child?
I just feel like just exist, do things that you like to do. That always helps you find where you're supposed to be. Just try things. Don't be scared. I mean, we're living in a very fragile time. So just like go after things that you want. And if people tell you can't do it, prove them otherwise because you can do it. Yeah.
That's so bad.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
Thanks.
Nah, for sure. Well, look, Dom, appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for just giving us an opportunity to hear your story and stuff. Because one thing I always recognize about you, right? And I'll say this, like I said, I'm an open book. Love talking to you. Love just telling you about any shenanigans that I have going on. And then like every now and then you'll just calmly reference something, or you'll just calmly say something about yourself, and then I'll be like, "Damn, Dom, I didn't know that." And then that's when you'll be like, "You never asked." So like,
I'm a listener though, so that's just like
Nah,
I'm just
I see
naturally
that.
a listener.
I see that, but I remember like the first time you said that, like it's always been kind of like my mission and my goal to just kind of like ask you small questions here or
I
there
noticed.
to kind of like to kind of learn about you, because I also don't want to be somebody that's just like sitting here and I'm talking about myself and everything I got
Yeah.
going on, but then I'm not taking the time to like check
No,
on somebody
yeah.
else's mental and figure that out. So for one, thank you for like saying that, because it makes me more cognizant. It makes me more aware to like not just know you, but also give you a space to be as comfortable as like you want to be around me. So thank you for not just coming on the show, but just you've also shaped my life in a really good way in the 2025 year. A lot of the opportunities that I've been able to kind of like be a part of is because of you.
Aw.
So
well, I'm happy to have
thank
you
you.
by my side and work with me.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Bestie.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you for coming on. I mean, we always tell every guest before the show, after the show, now as we wrap, like we want this platform to be a place where people can feel welcome, share their story, but share the story for not only yourself but for others who may have had similar situations or just need that extra oomph in their life to push them over the hump. So you definitely opened up in very vulnerable fashion. So, I hope that if there's a listener out there that, hears your story, they can take it as motivation, as fuel to keep going and aspire to do what it is that they put their heart and mind to. So yeah, appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. You guys made me feel very comfortable. I'm not much of a
Thanks.
talker,
Thanks.
but you guys got me to talk a little bit today.
Yeah.
I might be silent for the rest of the year.
Y'all can make sure y'all check out Dom's pages. Instagram is Dom Alexander with 2 R's. That's correct.
You got it.
TikTok is Dom Alexander with 1 R.
Yes.
1 R. Okay, for sure.
I think so. I don't remember.
Okay.
I think so.
You can catch this episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, @official InnerChild. Be sure to also follow us on Instagram and TikTok @official InnerChild. I'm JB. That's OD. We always say never forget to embrace your inner child. Till next time. Peace.